Hey, everybody. Hi, I'm just gonna see how we go with this now. So I'm going live on SJ today and tagging in Sarah. So let's hope it all lines up and we still get the same people able to see the content. So day two, how are we all feeling after day one's content? Got to remember, I've flipped the camera too, trying it this way. I've got to remember where the camera is. So today, day two, we're talking about sleep. I'm super excited about sleep because I love sleep. Now, also just want to mention again, if anyone is enjoying the content, while it's going live, you can share it. You can share it afterwards. If you're getting some value out of it, send me some love hearts, say hi, ask any questions, whatever you would like. But we're going to get into sleep. So I want to ask you a question. First is, how much sleep are you getting per night? Just want you to have that in your mind about how much sleep and what you think your quality of sleep is. Hey, thanks for watching. Oh, I can see people are there, but I can see who's actually watching. So I think there's a consensus that the experts agree that sleep is crucial for good health, and that it's actually the most underestimated sort of not study, because they're doing lots of study on it, but underestimated with just how it impacts all areas of our lives. So anyway, you're thinking about how much sleep you've had, and we're going to go and get deeper into this now. Now, I used to say, like I said, I love sleep. I said at the start, I love sleep now. But years ago, one of my sort of things I used to say all the time was, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That was my saying. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Hey, sweetie. So that is not great, because the likelihood of me dying sooner because I'm not sleeping is much higher. Yeah, and we seem to have this societal thing. It's like a badge of honor for how little sleep we get. And people walk around going, oh, I only need this much sleep. And, and it's like this whole competitive thing. So I just wanted to point that out about why that's happening currently, why it's been happening for a while, and it's something that we really need to address. So I'm going to go through a few little things about sleep and its effects, and then I'm going to give some tips at the end on how to increase your sleep and sleep quality. Now, I do get to that I train women, so I speak to a lot of mums, and I get it. I am a mum, and how that there is a period of time of your life that you will not get sleep. No matter what you do, you have children that are keeping you up constantly. So I totally get that. It's more of that I know I speak to a lot of women that are in this sort of vicious cycle of staying up quite late to have time to themselves, having the lack of sleep, and then feeling, and I think it has something also to do with that during the day, that then you're feeling tired, so then you're getting more cranky with your kids, and then feeling like you need time away from them anyway at the other end of the day. So it's that sort of, hey babe, staying up again. So it becomes this vicious cycle. So I just want people that feel like they're in that, just to reflect on that and see what you could do. Yeah, you do. That could help you feel more rest and recharge during the day. And maybe that's asking for help. Maybe that's finding some time away from your kids, however that is for you, or setting them up with something and taking a bath, lock the door. They'll be right for a little bit, whatever it is for you, except if you've got a newborn, that's a bit different. Whatever you can do to help that. And one thing, I'm checking my little notes here too. I want to touch on hormones, because even one night of sleep deprivation can have a dramatic effect on your hormones. Now, hormones, this is where we're going to touch into the weight. So hormones help regulate weight. So when we have a lack of sleep and the hormones are affected, it's a really delicate balance. So we have a hormone that helps us feel hungry, and we have a hormone that helps us feel full. When we have a lack of sleep, they actually go topsy-turvy. So we actually are more hungry, and the hormones that tell you when you're full are reduced, so you feel less full. So you actually overeat and feeling more hungry. So it's this sort of vicious cycle. And that's not even touching on cortisol, which is affected with stress from lack of sleep. And so touching on the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, it actually, when it's increased, slows your metabolism. So not only are you affecting with your weight, with your ghrelin and your leptin, which are those hunger and fullness hormones, but then your stress cortisol hormone. So we wonder why we're struggling to maybe lose weight. Because studies have actually proven, I listened to a study last year and that was just blew my mind, because it sort of, they did a study where they had got two groups of people and they actually reduced one, did everything the same. So with diet and exercise with both were like exactly the same. And then they made people have less sleep. I think it was 2 to 3 hours less sleep a night from one group. They actually found that the diet and sleep has a bigger effect on weight than diet and exercise combined. So you could be exercising and eating well, but your lack of sleep is stopping you achieving your results. So I just thought that was fascinating, not to mention it actually affected cholesterol, blood pressure, heart function, even gene. I was reading something recently. I was talking to someone about it. It was even the genes that can be switched on and off by doing certain things like environmental, what we eat, and lack of sleep. So this puts us at higher risk for all sorts of diseases. So sleep is just, I think it's a fundamental consensus now that we need to actually look at the amount of sleep and the quality. So it's not even necessarily the amount, but the quality. So they had also realized that the more sleep you get before 10 p.m., the more restorative it is. So the more human growth hormone that is released during that time, I think it was between 10 and 2. So that is like your optimal. So if you can get the more sleep you can get before midnight, the better. So it wasn't even like you went to bed at midnight and slept till 9 or 10 and you had 10 hours sleep, still wasn't as effective as going to bed at 10 and getting up at 6 or 5 even. So I thought that was really interesting and really fascinating there. I actually read a book last year on Ayurvedic. I love Ayurvedic, which is an Indian philosophy for health. It's sort of different to Chinese philosophies. So they've always got these different philosophies. But the book that I read last year, he said sleep debt is huge too. So sleep debt, he called, what we tend to do is maybe we do get a little bit more sleep during the week, but then on the weekends, we're staying up later and maybe still getting up at normal time, or you might sleep in a little bit, but you tend to have less sleep on the weekends. And he actually said that you're actually in a constant state of jet lag. So if you are also getting less sleep during the week, that is still keeping that constant state, of jet lag in your body, which has huge effects, which we said, all the hormones and everything else. So I thought that was like super fascinating. And there is a book, and his book actually, I wish I could remember the name. I should have researched before we got on. I can't remember the name, but his book is specifically for helping it's actually for younger people too, younger than me even, to help them with their sleep cycles and how to actually get better sleep, because he said it's becoming a real issue with the younger generation not prioritizing it. And yeah, as we know, as we've said, look, the effects that it can have, it's huge. So I'm going to jump into tips now, because I'm going to try and keep it a little bit shorter than yesterday. Remember to send me some love hearts if you're enjoying the content. So some tips, I would say, number one is seeing if you can set the same bedtime every night. So, and that even means like for us, even on the weekend, we still go to bed the same time, unless we're like at a movie or out to dinner or something like that. We still try to keep it around the same time. And I know people like to tease us and tell us we go to bed really early, because we're probably between 9:30 and 10 most nights. So, and that just keeps that same routine. And we might go to bed earlier and then read or something, which I'm going to get into. But you're keeping the same bedtime, and obviously as much as we can before midnight is amazing. Avoiding caffeine is a big one. You might not think it affects you, but it does. And particularly after 3 p.m. So it also, the more coffees you have, the more caffeine that's in your system, and the more caffeine that has to take to get out of your system before you are trying to get to sleep. The next one is actually digestion. So having a really big meal before bed. Like sometimes we're really hungry, like we've been out and you didn't have dinner. You're better off just having something like really small before bed, because you're trying to get to sleep. So you're trying to get your whole system to calm and relax, and then your body's on fire, creating fire to digest the large meal that you've had. So try to avoid a large meal for the last couple of hours before bed is another tip. Technology. So I'm going to tell you, I know I'm talking to you on technology and it's later, but I'm hoping that you put your phone away and that is that's gone before you go to bed. Because for every hour of technology, whether it's computers, phones, TVs, even like the blue light, we can get into that, affects your melatonin. So for every hour, and melatonin is another hormone that we have that's released for the restorative sleep to actually help us get into that deep sleep. For every hour of TV that you watch, or sorry, TV screen time that you have, it reduces your melatonin by 30 minutes. So you could even if you do get to sleep, because melatonin actually helps you get to sleep as well, even if you do get to sleep, your melatonin levels aren't increased so that you actually get into that restorative sleep. So even if you get to sleep by 11 and then you've watched 2 hours or 3 hours, which a lot of people do on their screens, it's going to be another hour and a half before that even gets into your system and helps you get that restorative sleep there. So it's something to look at. Try reading instead. That was my tip. So going back to reading instead, because when you're reading, you're actually scrolling through. And a book, not a phone, a book is really good because then you can read the pages with soft lighting. And because that's my next tip is soft lighting. Because the bright blue lights are another factor. So that's also like the blue light on your screen. Studies have come out now talking about the effects of the blue light, because the blue light actually keeps us alert and awake instead of trying to wind us down. So salt lamps are awesome, just lamps around your house, but salt lamps are really good because they've got that really soft like fire glow light. Lighting, so you're reading your book as long as you can see your book too, so have it quite close to you so you don't strain your eyes. Meditation's another good one. If you're really struggling to get to sleep, meditating before you go to bed, you can either do 2 ways. You could do a seated meditation where you're actually wanting to settle your body down, or you could do it laying down where you do put earphones in and you get a guided meditation to sleep. And I know so many people put the earplugs in and then they wake up in the middle of the night, pull them out, go back to sleep again. So it is actually helping them wind down, because it'll help you wind down and relax your body. Temperature, that was another thing that actually came up in the study too, which I'd actually already had in previous notes about this, is making sure you keep the room a little bit cooler. But they had actually found that insomniacs had a higher body temperature. And I know personally for me, if my feet are hot, I cannot sleep. So they were saying to do things like, for those people that do struggle to get sleep, having a cool bath or cool shower, excuse me, before you go to bed will actually cool your body temperature down a little bit. Having the room cooler, however that is for you, might need the window open a little bit. And having good quality bedding makes a really big difference, because the bedding can overheat you. So if you have sort of synthetic fibers, they can overheat you. So for me, I use like Tencel bedding or bamboo or something that keeps a really neutral heat. That's something to look at. I think that's been through all my tips. I'm just having a quick look for you guys. And I think I have no idea how long. 15. I said I went around 15. Good. So we kept a good time. And I love leaving you with a quote. And I'm going to leave you with a quote, something to take with you at the end of every live. And today's quote is, getting good quality sleep is a form of self-respect and self-love. So prioritizing yourself. Respect yourself and your body enough to prioritize it, and fall in love with taking care of yourself. So I love that, because I think that's really awesome. So yes, if you enjoyed this, share the content, because you know there's lots of value in this, and a lot of people do struggle with sleep. So it's here. Share it with them. Share them in groups. It's here for you guys. Tomorrow is hunger. I was looking at my notes. Hunger. So we're going to talk about hunger and hormones there, and what we can do about that and everything. So it's going to be good, and I can't wait. So tomorrow night, 8:30. Hope you enjoyed tonight, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Much love.